Jarrett Belmond with AllChoice Insurance, back again today. We are going to discuss group decision making. At AllChoice Insurance, group decision making is a key element to improving all of our systems and processes. At AllChoice Insurance, there's a lot of decisions as the head of the organization that I make myself. But oftentimes, and more often than not, we use our whole team, our whole group of employees to make the decisions on how we're going to move forward with our systems and processes. This allows more information, better feedback to come into the leadership group so we can make the best system and process to move forward and serve our clients in the best way. Now, we've talked in the past about our sales process, so I'm going to discuss that a little bit. We have multiple data points that we track to help us make these decisions. They're not just gut feelings. We literally go off the data we have. So let's talk about some of those today. We have, it's email marketing is a big thing we use. So open rates is a big one that we track for the emails. So the success of that email campaign and that process, that sales process, is often tracked by how many people are actually opening those emails. It also is how many people are answering their phone when we call them. So even I want to talk about email marketing because it's a little more quantitative, but it can be applied to phone calls also. So how many people are answering the phone when we call? The other is click-through. So when we actually get a delivered email, how many people are clicking the call to action that we're asking them to? So whether that be, hey, watch this video for more information, hey, click this to give us the information we need, or schedule a call with us, whatever our call to action is, we track the amount of times people click that. We also obviously track any unsubscribes or complaints, right? If people think we're spamming them, we want to know that, right? That's a serious issue that we want to immediately address. And then conversion rates. So conversion rate, of course, is important because this shows how many of those we're actually closing and making a profit on at the end. And conversion rate is really just the number of sales divided by the number of delivered emails, and then you can have what the value of that campaign is. Now, open rates is something that's easily tracked, right? We can look at a data point and see what it is. But when it's a phone call, we want to know how many people are answering the phone. So we have to talk to our team and see what times they're calling, what their call, how often they're calling. So, right, they're not just going to call once and say we didn't get a hold of them. So how many times they have to call a specific prospect before they get in touch with them. Click through, same thing. We really need to talk to them because if they, our receptionist or we literally have someone on staff that sometimes just makes information gathering phone calls. So the producers aren't doing that. The leadership team isn't doing that. So we need to know how many calls they normally make before that person answers. So we have to get some groupthink there. Unsubscribed, complaints, and spam. That's really something that the leadership team really looks at because we want it to reflect our culture. So we really keep a good eye on that, especially the spam. When people complain about our emails, we take a look at it and try to dig in to why that's happening. And then conversion rate is very important. We want everybody to be successful. We want the company to be profitable. So converting that is important. The big things that I've been talking about are that we look into, right, is time. Let me get a better marker here for you. So time. Ooh, that's a pretty one. Time, topic, subject, and those calls to actions. So as we go through each one of these, we need to know how it impacts our team members. Time. There's been instances where we really feel that too much effort, too much valuable time has been put in by our team members to get in touch. So if our team member has to call 5 or 6 times to get a hold of this person, they obviously don't know we're trying to reach them. We need to adjust that. Topic, right? Why are we actually reaching out to them? So are we gathering information? Are we trying to offer free value? And we adjust by all the others ones by what that is. So if it's a gathering information, right, and they're clicking through because they want to give us information, we want to know how important that is. But that click-through rate for free value is always going to be a little higher. And so we need to address that. So we talk to the team about what they're talking about and then how these apply. And it's just a way to kind of break down how the whole team is seeing it. So as a producer and leader in the agency, it's very easy for me to say, well, my success is doing fine, right? Because maybe I'm a better communicator on the phone, and so people answer me. Or I'm dealing with clients that know I'm calling or I've already created a relationship with. But then we have lead generation that we might not have a relationship with them, and we have individuals that follow the same sales process, but for a little different, prospect, right? Not a close relation, but a, more of a warm or cold lead. And we need to know how those differentiate. So we need to talk to the whole team because we're all using the same process. So in summary, we take all of this into account in our group meetings, and we like to do virtual meetings. We're not all in the same place, so we like to be able to look each other in the face when we discuss this. We have that group meeting, we listen to each other, we assemble that information, and we use that to move forward and change the sales process. Now, myself and my partner are usually the ones making the actual changes to that sales process, but the execution comes from our team. So we listen to the team, we hear their feedback, and we use that in order to move forward in a better and more productive way.